bill is passed. Special mention. Dr. Sushil Kumar Modi, subject concerned over increased cases of suicides among students.
मैडम, मेरे स्पेशल मेंशन का सब्जेक्ट है concern over increased cases of suicide among students. In 2021, there have been 10,732 suicide cases of students below the age of 18 years. It depicted an increase of 4.5% from the previous year. In the last 5 years, 75 students have committed suicide in IIT, IIM, AIMS, and other top premier institutions. These cases have been increasing at a concerning rate. In Kota this year, police have reported more than 15 suicides. The high number of suicides reflects the severe mental and physical stress the students go through to secure college admissions in the premier universities. The students face severe academic stress and develop mental health issues because of the intensive competition in the medical and engineering examinations. Factors like low self-esteem due to poor scores in examinations at the coaching centers, pressures of parental expectations, financial constraints, and the stigma around poor performance contribute to the students' constantly deteriorating mental health. The consequences of relentless academic pressure are extremely concerning. Thus, I request the government to develop a comprehensive suicide prevention mechanism and implement the same in mission mode to harness the results at the earliest. The government should take a proactive initiative to enhance mental health support within coaching institutes, schools, and universities. The number of counselors available should be increased, and a mechanism should be developed to communicate openly between the students and the counselors. There should be awareness campaign targeting teachers, parents, and students. Increased awareness among the public will help in early identification and treatment of suicidal tendencies. I urge the government to look into the matter.
Thank you, sir. Srimati J.B. Mather Hisam. Absent. Srimati Mamta Mahanta.
Speak in Odia. महोदया ओडिशार मयूरभंज जिला अधीन बांगरीपोशी ठारू प्रभु जगन्नाथ धाम पुरी पर्यंत नियमित ट्रेन चले सकाळु एक ट्रेन पुरी जाए एवं संध्यारे पुणी पुरी ठारू एक ट्रेन बांगरीपोशी को आसी थाए ट्रेन नंबर 12891 बांगरीपोशी पुरी जाए और ट्रेन नंबर 12892 पुरी ठारू बांगरीपोशी आसी थाए यह एक सुपरफास्ट एक्सप्रेस यही दुई ट्रेन द्वारा अंचलवासी बहुत उपकृत होती केवल मयूरभंज जिला नुहे बालेश्वर भद्रक जाजपुर कटक भुवनेश्वर विभिन्न वर्गर लोक यथा चाकिरिया श्रमिक भली बहुत लोक उपकृत होती मयूरभंज रे ये एकमात्र ट्रेन जहाँकि प्रतिदिन लोक जीवाआसवा करती यही ट्रेन उपरे निर्भर करती तेबे महोदय दीर्घ मास हम पुरी ठारू बांगरीपोशी जाऊथुवा ट्रेन प्रतिदिन 2-3 घंटा विलंबरे जाऊँगी पुरी ठारू अपराह्न 4:20 छाड़ी भुवनेश्वर को 5:25 रे पहुँचे सेठारू 5:30 रे छाड़ी थाए हेले यही ट्रेन पुरी ठारू बाहर 2-3 घंटा विलंब होउची फल लोके बहुत हैरान होउचंती बांगरीपोशी पहुँचवा बेल को राति 2टा हो जाउची रेल कर्तृपक्ष एने गुरुत्व देउना तेणु यही पवित्र गृह मोर अभियोग रखी आपणों माध्यम रे मोर अनुरोध रेल विभाग एप्रति दृष्टि दे लोकों सुविधा पाई ठीक समय ट्रेन चलाचल करिवो बोली आशा करुच्ची धन्यवाद
थैंक यू श्री मोहम्मद अब्दुल्ला
I lay on a table. Kindly permit me to lay on I lay on a table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sri A.D. Singh, not present. Sri Mohammad Nadimul Haq, not present. Sri A. Rahim, not present. Sri Vijay Pal Singh Tomar,
वैसे तो मैंने सेक्रेटरी साहब को बताया भी था, मैंने विषय दिया था कि मेरे ज़िले में 3.37 मीटर जल स्तर नीचे चला गया है और पूरे पश्चिम की यह हालत है, लेकिन मेरे को दिया वो जो मैंने पहले 0 आवर में उठा दिया, कहा कि अब तो यही बोलना पड़ेगा। तो महोदय, मैं दिल्ली NCR और उसके आसपास के क्षेत्रों के प्रदूषित जल पर ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहता हूँ। यमुना नदी, काली नदी, हिंडन का जल स्तर, स्लॉटर हाउस, चीनी मिल, पेपर मिल, डिस्टिलरी प्लांट, केमिकल कारखानों के प्रदूषित जल से इन नदियों का पानी जहरीला हो गया है। यह अपने समीपवर्ती सैकड़ों गांवों में कैंसर की बीमारी का कारण बना हुआ है। काली नदी में जहां भी सैंपल लिया गया वहां ऑक्सीजन की मात्रा शून्य पाई गई, जबकि TCO 2,80,000 और वीडियो की मात्रा 40 पाई गई। केंद्रीय भूजल बोर्ड की रिपोर्ट के अनुसार इस नदी के पानी में पारा, कॉपर, जिंक, आर्सेनिक व फ्लोराइड, नाइट्रेट की मात्रा भी बहुत अधिक है। स्पष्ट है कि काली नदी का पानी पीने लायक तो है ही नहीं, साथ ही सिंचाई या किसी अन्य काम में आने लायक भी नहीं है और ऑक्सीजन खत्म होने से जलीय जंतु भी गायब हो गए हैं। राष्ट्रीय हरित अधिकरण के आदेश पर काली नदी के किनारे चिकित्सा कैंप लगाए गए, जिसमें पाया गया कि नदी के समीपवर्ती गाँवों में कैंसर तथा अन्य बीमारियाँ जैसे पीलिया है, पेचिस है, हैजा है और चर्म रोग की बीमारी बढ़ती जा रही है। पीड़ितों की संख्या राष्ट्रीय मानकों से काफ़ी अधिक है जो कैंसर पीड़ितों की है। मैं आपके माध्यम से केंद्र सरकार से अनुरोध करूंगा कि जन स्वास्थ्य को देखते हुए दिल्ली और दिल्ली NCR के आसपास जितनी भी औद्योगिक इकाइयाँ हैं उनसे निपटने हेतु सख्त प्रभावी कदम उठाया जाए, ताकि इस क्षेत्र के लोगों के जीवन के साथ हो रहे स्वास्थ्य के साथ हो रहे खिलवाड़ को रोका जा सके। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Sri Santosh Kumar P, not present. Sri Sakaldeep Rajbhar,
माननीय, आपने इस स्पेशल मेंशन पर बोलने का अवसर दिया, इसके लिए मैं आपका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। सदन के माध्यम से मैं स्पेशल मेंशन के तहत लोक महत्व के अति आवश्यक विषय को रखते हुए कहना चाहता हूं कि उत्तर प्रदेश के पूर्वांचल में स्थित जनपद बलिया में किसान सहकारी गन्ना मिल रसड़ा, कताई मिल रसड़ा व जनपद गाजीपुर में पूर्वांचल कताई मिल, बहादुरगंज और जनपद मऊ में स्पिनिंग कताई मिल परदहा, स्पिनिंग कताई मिल परदहा में स्वदेशी काटन मिल मऊ उत्तर प्रदेश राज्य में सरकार द्वारा संचालित की जा रही थी, जिससे वहाँ के लोगों को रोजगार मिल रहा था। ये सभी उद्यम इन दिनों बंद हो चुके हैं। मिल बंदी के कारण सभी कर्मचारी बेरोजगार होकर भुखमरी के कगार पर पहुंच गए हैं। माननीय महोदया जी, मैं इस विषय को सदन में 15/3/2021 को शून्यकाल के तहत उठाया था। यहाँ के गन्ना मिल बंद होने और आसपास कोई दूसरा मिल न होने के कारण यहाँ के किसान काफ़ी परेशान हैं। किसानों के लिए गन्ना की खेती नकदी फसल के समान होता है, जिससे किसान अपने बच्चों की शिक्षा, शादी विवाह तथा अन्य प्रयोजन के लिए करते हैं। लेकिन गन्ना मिल बंद होने से यहाँ के किसान गन्ने की खेती ही बंद कर दिए। इन सभी मिलों को चालू करने के लिए राज्य सरकार द्वारा 873 करोड़ रुपए मंजूर हुआ, लेकिन यह राशि अभी तक रिलीज नहीं हुई। अतः आपके माध्यम से और सदन के माध्यम से केंद्र सरकार से मांग करता हूं कि उक्त सभी मिलों को चालू करने में आर्थिक मदद करें और राज्य सरकार को भी स्वीकृति राशि निर्गत करने के लिए आदेशित करें। तथा इसके अलावा मेरा सुझाव है कि अगर उक्त मिलें चालू नहीं हो पाती हैं तो ऐसी सूरत में उक्त मिलों के भूमि पर सक्षम व्यापारियों को उपलब्ध कराकर व्यवसायिक केंद्र बनाया जाए, जिससे उन जिलों के गरीब जनता को रोजगार मिल सके। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद। श्री जयंत चौधरी, नॉट प्रेजेंट। श्री Brijlal. Sri Brijlal.
जी जी Thanks, Vice Chairman, Chairperson, Madam, for giving me opportunity to speak on my special mention. My subject is demand for removal of restriction on movement of four-wheelers on Indo-Nepalese border Aligarhwa checkpost. It has been ascertained that there is an Indian checkpost at Aligarhwa, Siddharthnagar district, UP, on the Indo-Nepal border on the Indian side, and similarly on the other side there is a Nepalese checkpost. It has been noted that only two-wheelers can ply between these two checkposts. In the absence of movement of commercial vehicle, trade does not take place due to these vehicular restrictions. These restrictions cause negative economic development of this area. It is also to be worthwhile to mention that earlier bullock carts used to ply on the route before these restrictions came in force, and usual commercial activity were going on unhindered. I urge through you to Honorable External Affairs Minister to make effort to remove restriction on the movement of commercial vehicle between these checkposts. This gesture will improve the economic life on the people of the area. Thanks, madam.
Thank you. Sri Hise Lachungpa. Not present. Sri Bhubaneswar Kalita.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chairperson, for giving me the opportunity to raise a very important issue on health, of all of our health through special mention, and my subject is need to adopt front of the pack labeling regulations, ensuring warning levels on high fat, sugar and salt foods. Madam, India is facing a huge burden of diseases such as diabetes, heart diseases and cancers. 1 out of 4 adults in India is either diabetic or pre-diabetic according to the latest study. These diseases are responsible for more than 60% of the total deaths in the country, and many are preventable. One of the major reasons of rising number of diabetes and other diseases is because of increasing consumption of junk food, high fat, sugar and salt foods and beverages according to WHO scientific studies. In India, the sale of such unhealthy foods is growing by 19% annually. Sales of food and beverages are shrinking in the West, and companies are descending into emerging economies and targeting vulnerable populations and the children. India needs to come up with strong front of the food pack labeling policy on HFSS foods that can reduce their consumption. The WHO has recently called upon the governments to formulate strong policies that would decrease the consumption of such unhealthy foods. One such FOPL policy is to mandate warning labels as FOPL on HFSS foods that are already defined in the draft regulation. The WHO SARO's thresholds can be used too. This is the only policy that works and is backed by the global and national evidence. I urge upon the government to urgently adopt strong FOPL regulation to ensure mandatory warning levels on the high fat and sugar salt foods. India can demonstrate global leadership to protect its people from harmful HSF marketing like effectively done in the case of marketing baby foods and tobacco. Through you, Madam, I request the government, demand the government to take appropriate action on making strong FOPL regulations, ensuring high-fat sugar salt foods, and do whatever is necessary. And I would have been present if Health Minister was present here today, because this is a very important subject affecting everyone's health. Thank you, Madam.
धन्यवाद. श्री गुलाम अली.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson, ma'am. This is to bring to your kind consideration that certain taxpayers are facing some income tax related hardship on account of non-deposit of tax deducted at source to government account, why tax deductors, which does not come to the notice of Central Processing Center of the Income Tax Department. And when the SSC approaches the jurisdictional income tax officer with such problem, the jurisdictional officer expresses his inability to take any action against the defaulters, claiming that income tax officer cannot do unless the same comes from CPC. In one such instance, the TDS of a taxpayer was deducted by a government corporation, Jammu Municipal Corporation, but does not deposited during the relevant year in Jammu and Kashmir. The SSC had offered his correct income for tax to the Income Tax Department and calculated proper taxes. Credited to TDS was not received on account of non-deposit of the tax deducted by the deductor. As a result, the department served the person demand notice of the amount of tax which was deducted out of the income of the person, but was not deposited by the said government corporation during the relevant year. Same may be done with the other SSC by various departments, corporations across India. I therefore urge through you to government to seek data on such complaints and redress them. Thank you.
धन्यवाद. श्री अयोध्या रमी रेड्डी अल्ला.
Thank you, Madam. This is an important subject on coal during high electricity demands being burnt. Madam, based on government data, Reuters reported that India experienced its most substantial growth in power generation in over 30 years during the previous fiscal year, with coal-fired plants recording a 12.4% surge in electricity production, leading to a notable rise in emissions. The surge in power demand, driven by intense summer heat waves and other contributing factors, compelled India to boost its power output from both coal and solar facilities to avoid power shortages. Indian power plants in the new fiscal year are expected to burn about 8% more coal, according to the report. The rapid acceleration in India's coal-fired output to address increased power demand remains a significant hurdle, as we have committed to reducing our carbon emissions. As climate change is likely to accelerate the impact of heat waves, addressing increased electricity demands while also reducing the share of coal in power mix will be a recurrent challenge and must be tackled effectively. Therefore, I request the government to take measures towards renewable energy diversification and increasing the renewable energy generation capacity to tackle the increased power demand. This would ensure we stay on the right path regarding our sustainable development commitments and successfully end our coal dependence. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Sri GVL Narasimha Rao.
Thank you, Madam. My special mention is about the need to establish a National Building and Construction Workers Fund by amending the relevant acts. Madam, as per the Building and Other Construction Workers Act, 1% cess is collected by the labor departments of state governments from builders of construction projects. The money so collected is to be transferred to state construction workers boards for the welfare of the workers. As high as 5.06 crore building and construction workers are registered with various state construction workers boards. They are entitled to receive several welfare benefits for educational assistance, marriage, maternity benefits, medical assistance, death in family for differently abled members, and for housing grants. Several lakhs of such claims are pending in state workers' boards, though their state governments have thousands of crores of collected funds lying unutilized. The central government has asked the state governments repeatedly to use these funds during the COVID period, but in vain. I appeal to the government to amend the Building and Other Construction Workers Welfare Cess Act 1996 and the Building and Construction Workers Act to establish a national construction workers fund from the cess collected under these acts and distribute the same to workers via DBT, direct benefit transfer mode, as in the case of other central schemes like Pradhan Kisan Samman Nidhi. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. The House stands adjourned to meet at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, the 9th August 2023.